Chris Long at Lakeview Cottage Kids, and this tutorial is how to put a faux fur pom-pom on the top of a hat. And I'll show you some examples later on of finished ones, but I wanted to show you, this is a faux fur pom-pom that I purchased off of Amazon, but you can find them at Joann's and Michael's and various other sites on Etsy. You can make your own. I did not make my own, but that's what this one came from, is Amazon. I wanted to show you that they come in so many different colors and kind of fur color combinations, but I thought this one was really cool. And you'll notice that some come with snaps on the bottom to just snap onto the top of the hat. Some come with these elastic kind of attachments. I'm actually going to cut that off because I've found, and you can use this and just put your yarn through and attach that to your hat. But what I've found is that it's really floppy and it doesn't really stand up nice, so you can kind of make a determination. But I'm going to show you a way to make it a little bit better and make it so it kind of doesn't just flop real loosely around. So what I'm going to do is to, just before we start with anything, is trim off that little elastic. It won't do anything to your actual pom-pom, but it'll just get rid of that and out of the way. I just kind of stretch it, cut that off, and get rid of it. Okay, so what I've done is cut off the elastic little loop that you can attach your faux pom-pom to your hat with, but I don't usually use that because it makes it just too floppy. So what I've done is I have a very small diameter, or very small yarn needle, and I have it already threaded with about 45 inches of my yarn that matches my hat. And now sometimes this can be a little bit of a struggle, so bear with me, and if it happens to you, it's just kind of part of the fun of doing this with this particular type of pom-pom. Okay, what I've done is I have a very small yarn needle, and I've put in about 45 inches of the matching yarn to my hat, and I've left it doubled. And to save time, and so you didn't have to watch me struggle with this, in order to do this so it's not so floppy, as you know, I took off the elastic loop that comes with this when you purchase it. And what I did was take my needle, and then I put it in right about 1/2 inch to the right of center, and through the pom-pom and out about 1/2 inch beyond the center. Now, that can kind of feel like a struggle, and it's hard to pull through sometimes. And so what I would recommend is that if you have one of those rubber kind of things that helps you open a jar, or some kind of a pliers that you can pull your needle through, that might be helpful, because it just is kind of hard to get that needle through the pom-pom, but once you do, I think you'll like this technique. So now what we want to do is take the top of our hat, and here we have the top, and it's already closed up, and here's the center. And what you want to do, again, a little bit off of center, put your needle down in, and just under the inside, put your hand underneath and pull your pom-pom to the center. Now, I didn't mention before, when you put your yarn through your pom-pom, have it pretty much even on both sides, so you've got something to work with when you're working with this. Now, before I work with the other side and pull that up into center, I'm also going to be taking a 1 1/8 inch button, and it can have 2 or 4 holes in it. It doesn't matter, but they need to be big enough so you can get your needle through it with your yarn. So from the inside, where we brought this first end of the yarn, what we're going to do is come through 1 hole in the button, and then take the needle off of that yarn. Now, back to the outside, we take our other end of yarn and we want to get that through the eye of our needle. And when you're working with such a small needle, sometimes that can be an experience trying to get your yarn through. But we have it through, and remember this is a doubled piece of yarn, so we want to get both of those into it. Then back on the top of our hat, find that center, and then right across from where we went in with our first bit of yarn, this one's going to go across and on the other side and down onto the inside. Then on the inside, you want to find your button. And if you have 4 holes, come to the one across from the one you did before. And go through. I almost panicked there and thought the hole was going to be too small. Pull our yarn through. And what we're doing this, why we're attaching our pom-pom with this button method is because we want to be able to remove the pom-pom so we can wash the hat when we need to. So far we have the pom-pom attached to the yarn. We came through the top of the hat. We brought those 2 ends of the yarn to the inside of the hat through the button. And now we're going to just tie tightly. And some people have said, well, why do you use the button? Why not just tie it and then you don't need the button? Well, in this way, it comes out a little bit easier. You can do it pretty tight, and it still can be untied relatively easy. So you can do it the other way with no button, but it might be a little more difficult to get it untied. Now, I'm not going to make a knot. I'm just going to tie a bow. And trim it just a touch. And then, there you have your pretty pom-pom on top of your hat. And it can be removed so easily when you want to wash the hat and not ruin your faux fur pom-pom. So that's how I do it. Sometimes when I'm doing just a yarn pom-pom, I don't usually use the button unless it's some kind of a real spectacular one that I've made, but typically the pom-poms can be washed, but sometimes they can also kind of look kind of beat up if you wash them too often. So again, you can use this technique for faux fur or for yarn pom-poms. It doesn't matter, and it's easy to do, and I think it's valuable. So again, this is Chris Long at Lakeview Cottage Kids. Thanks for watching.